Thanks so much for sticking with me for 13 videos. I'm going to wrap this thing up. We won't have too many tasks or extra things to show you. I just want to put a little bit of a bow on it and talk about some best practices. I want to reiterate the importance of data integrity. Excel, one of the main drawbacks is there's a chance to override things. There's a chance to overtype things. So get used to learn data validation. You can do data validation where you limit the inputs people can have. You can do some protection on the cells, protection on the sheets. Get comfortable with that world so that you can properly protect the value that you create. Next, know when to migrate and think about advanced tools. All right, Excel is a fantastic tool set and absolutely the beginning of my career. The beginning of most analytics professional careers is Excel. So you're in the right place as you get started, and as you want to continue, you have to learn and get some better knowledge and understanding of additional tools. So Excel starts to have problems with processing too much data. Excel starts to have problems when connecting data. Excel starts to have problems with performance in keeping data pipelines fresh. And so that's when you have to start thinking about these next tools. So I'll just mention a couple of them here. I intend to create content for you so that you have a way to access some of these other skill sets as well. But when you run out of room, when Excel just won't process the data, that's when you have to start learning about and understanding SQL, the programming language that accesses data straight from databases, or Power BI tools. I said Power BI, sorry, or other BI tools, which just stands for business intelligence, like Power BI or Tableau. So these have a different set of advantages and disadvantages, but it's sort of the next progression in an analyst's ability to access data and visualize and create useful information for others to consume. So that's the idea on those more advanced tools and when you should start thinking about them. The next two things I'll give you are really simple. I just want to give you two simple ones that really change my work in Excel. There's a million ways that you can optimize your work in Excel to be quicker, to be more efficient. But if you do these two things, you're going to look like and feel like a pro in Excel. The first one is Control T. Full honesty here, I had been taking the long way around. I had a shortcut to this result, which is, I think, Alt-N T, something like that. I just learned about Control T as I was making this course. Feel like such an idiot, but that's how this goes. You continue to learn. Control T creates a table. So I'm going to go over to the raw data tab and show you that, plus this next other sort of hack for moving efficiently through Excel. That is Control plus the arrow keys. So let's go look at those. Number one, I'm actually going to do Control arrow keys first because they're super useful when you are connecting to data and moving around big data sets. When you hit Control down, it jumps you to the end of the content. Control right to the far right of the content. Up and left do exactly what you would expect. So those are one of those things that you just got to get stuck in your brain because it really helps in using data. Another quick one I'll share is Control Shift and an arrow key. So Control Shift and right highlights everything to the right. So it does the same thing as Control arrow key, except it will highlight everything on the way. So that's another just super useful thing. You can see I just highlighted 10,000 records in a matter of seconds. So get used to doing that. Then the next one is that Control T. I just have to be anywhere in this information that's in kind of table form, but it's not officially a table. Hit Control T, and Excel knows exactly what you're trying to do. You can tell that it picked that full range of the data, and it already knows that I've got headers. So there you go. In an instant, you've got a table. Highly recommend that you get comfortable doing that and doing that often. All right, I just want to introduce this concept. We're not going to go into it and use it because I actually think it has some utility, but there are other tools to accomplish these tasks more efficiently. Your time would be better spent understanding those other tools. However, there are a couple of utilities in Excel that allow you to move beyond some of those limitations of Excel where it processes data slow or it's difficult to connect data. And that is Power Query and Power Pivot. So Power Query is a utility in Excel that's actually also shared with Power BI. It helps you automate the data cleaning, merging, and transformation. And so if you've got empty cells, if you've got duplicate cells, if you've got things that need to be rearranged, that's something you can automate. So if you have a repetitive task, you might need to think about Power Query. Power Pivot enables you to analyze larger data sets. So once you're beyond that Excel row limit, or if you need to connect multiple data sets, Power Pivot enables you to do that. The entry-level utility to do this, you already saw in this series when we talked about relationships. That is the starting point, and it just kind of builds from there. The only reason I don't want to go deep into these is because, first of all, this is sort of beginner series. Secondly, there's other tools and capabilities that help accomplish these things a lot more efficiently, and I would rather you broaden your understanding of the environment than continue to get uber deep on this one tool. So that's why I'm not going to go too much further. All right, let's talk about further learnings and resources. Expanding your skill set in healthcare analytics, there's many resources available, and most of them are online, which is absolutely the good news. Microsoft itself has some great resources in free tutorials and all sorts of help content. There's also specific certificate pathways. Myself, I haven't ever pursued these, but I do think they are an opportunity to show on your resume that you've made a commitment to learning this tool. There are healthcare analytics communities in my local area. Mini Analytics is one of those. They are communities of people who do analytics and work in healthcare and want to share best practices and new learnings. Look for those in your area or online in order to join up and meet like-minded people who can help you go further in this journey. So if you want to take on some tasks, go ahead and check out Microsoft's learning offerings. Look for a community. And then I want to give this last piece. The absolute best next step to take is to find practical examples. I learned everything that I've learned in Excel by having a task I needed to accomplish and being very stubborn on getting there. Googling, looking at YouTube, figuring out the resources or the people even that can show me how to do what I need to do. Almost certainly, you will never do something in Excel that someone else hasn't already done and likely has made a video on it of how to do it. So, find yourself a specific task that will push you into new capabilities and then be stubborn about finishing it. So that could look like using public data sets like the CDC or the World Health Organization. They offer data sets that you can use. Also, there's a great resource in Kaggle. Kaggle.com posts data sets and challenges that can be accomplished in a number of different tools, but Excel would be one of them. So this would be a great place that you can go and find healthcare-specific data sets with healthcare problems attached to them that people are trying to solve. And the last one is tune into this channel. I'm going to continue to add use case content because I could look up and figure out every last detail about Excel and try to teach it, but it would take me years, and the likelihood of you actually needing it is pretty low. You are more likely to bump into the practical, useful skills that you need by working on meaningful use cases. So I will be building those out and showing how to accomplish them in Excel on this channel, as well as doing some introductory courses like this in other key healthcare analytics technologies, Power BI, Tableau, SQL. So tune in, be back at this channel. That is another great resource that you will have. So a little wrap up and farewell. Just thank you. Congratulations. You've learned a pretty good amount. Come back, see what we have to offer in the future. So glad if you made it all the way through the 13 videos. That's amazing. Thanks for joining me.